Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Otsego City Council meeting. Tonight is Monday, June 14th. Audra, we're going to do a mic check, which this will also serve as your roll call for us. So I will go to my left for mic check.
Brittany Mars, Audra Edsel,
Adam Flaherty,
Sabrina Hilly,
Dave Kendall, Ron Wagner,
Dan Licht,
Tina Gady,
Tom Darkenwald.
And Councilmember Dahl, can you?
Yes, I'm here. And also Dave, can you pull your mic in a little bit, please?
is that better?
Yes, thank you. Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. At this time, we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our first item of business this evening is our open forum. This is the portion of the meeting where you can come to the podium, state your name and address, and limit comments to 5 minutes or less. Would anyone like to speak at this time? All right, at this time, we will close the public hearing and move on to consider our agenda for approval. Does anyone have anything that they would like to add or delete at this time? And a motion would be in order. I will make a motion to consider the agenda as written. Is there a second? Motion by Jessica, seconded by Brittany. Is there any discussion? We'll do roll call voting. Tina?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jessica? Aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Brittany?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item is our consent agenda. A motion would be in order. Tom?
I second that.
Motion by Tom, seconded by Tina. Is there any discussion? We'll do roll call voting. Tina?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jessica? Aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Brittany?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item is item 4.1, Heritage Hills. We'll turn this over to our city engineer, Ron Wagner.
Thank you, Mayor. We opened bids last Tuesday for Heritage Hills, and the low bid was Oman Brothers out of Albertville. We've done lots of projects with them in the past. Our engineer's estimate was about 470,000, or excuse me, 525,000, and the low bid from Oman Brothers was about 470,000. So we're recommending awarding that contract to the low bidder. This is an assessment project, so that'll help out on how much the city is going to pay, although the residents are at $1,000 each anyways. So.
All right. Any questions for Ron on this project?
Ron, I do have a question. Back when the residents, there was a couple of residents that came in and that had mentioned their driveways. There was something special about the driveways.
Concrete.
Yes, but there was something in the driveway that Jeff might be able to also remember because they had.
It was the
Yes.
saw cuts in the concrete.
Thank you. Okay, so they had listed everything, you know, their bid listed everything for cost. Like obviously those things that's still remembered and we won't forget that and that will be taken care of.
Yeah, all the driveways will be saw cut and they'll be at a point that would allow slope back to the street so that you don't have water that's running towards their house. And these are saw cuts are required to make a nice clean cut so that they have a nice joint wherever that location is. But we try to minimize it as much as possible. It really depends on how steep their driveway is.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Any more comments? Otherwise, a motion would be in order.
Yeah, Mayor.
Tom?
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2021-46, accepting bids and awarding contract for Heritage Hills 21 Street Renewal Project number 2104 to Oman Brothers Paving Inc. of Albertville, Minnesota, in the amount of $469,084.
Second.
Motion by Tom, seconded by Tina. Is there any discussion? All right, we'll need to do roll call voting. Tina? Aye. Tom? Jessica? Aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Brittany?
Hi.
Motion passes. Moving on to item 4.2, trail improvement.
Thank you, Mayor. We opened this bid back on May 18th. We spent a little bit more time reviewing the contractor as they were unknown to us before this. They're out of Elk River. They're a local trucking company that's trying to get into the construction side of it. So this would be their first municipal prime contractor construction project. Our estimate was 319,000. Their bid was 316,000. It's Novco. The owner or representative of the firm is here if there's any questions, but we did check all their subcontractors, and their subcontractors are ones that we've worked with. So they're picking from a list that are known commodities to us. And we have no reason not consider awarding them the project. So we are recommending awarding the contract to the low bidder, Novco.
Perfect. Since the contractor is here, do you have any comments? Or, nope, okay, that's fine. I'll give you that option. All right, questions for staff on this one? Tom?
And Mayor, just a question for Ron, maybe Ron can answer this. When we put this in the CIP budget for the 258,000, reason why is bid, I mean, obviously it was competitive bidding process, we got 10 bids.
Correct.
But, was there a certain reason why the?
Yeah, I think the largest reason is that we had ADA ramps that were not in the bid. So we're putting at least 7 of them on Odine Avenue that have to be constructed to ADA standards. And that adds quite a bit to it. And we also have 1 or 2 along Page Avenue. Of course, the 2 that are going to be placed on 70th Street were already in that estimate. So, but that's the main reason for the overage compared to the CIP.
Ron, correct me if I'm wrong, are the Page ones are done, it's adding the 2 on 78th where we're getting Boulder Creek over, is that different than this?
On Page, I think the ones on the cul-de-sac that wasn't completed when we did the upgrade of the road,
Okay,
Page Avenue itself, we did those ADAs.
Yep.
Except for the one on the cul-de-sac in Pheasant Ridge. But there's quite a few of them along Odine Avenue. We're going from County State Aid Highway 38 up to 85th Street. The only areas that we have ADA compliant are right near Ashwood because that's a brand new development.
Mhm.
Those were put in with the development. All the other crossings do not meet ADA at this time. When they were put in
Mhm.
in 1997, they were, but
sure.
they changed their requirements.
Since I live off of Page, I'm failing to see what cul-de-sac you're referring to.
The cul-de-sac you live on,
So they're gonna put it off the road?
off of your end of your cul-de-sac, yes.
So, because that's not ADA. I'm sorry, I
Yes.
thought you were referring to on Page Avenue. And I was like,
Oh,
No.
where's the cul-de-sac?
as I was like, where's the
Yeah.
cul-de-sac on Page? I was
No,
like,
sorry.
I live
Yeah.
right over there. Okay, I'm sorry. You're referring to that section that brings them up to the road.
Correct.
Okay.
There's a short section that brings it from the cul-de-sac down to
Yes,
Page, and we're redoing that stretch of path with it because it's contiguous and it's a very short section.
okay, that makes sense. I'm sorry. I
Yes.
just was, you said cul-de-sac and Page and I had no idea where you were talking about. Okay. Does this also then set us up, this would be a question for Adam then, as Tom alluded to, that this is 35% more. Are we then going to be using these numbers, budgeting ahead, so that way we're not so far off in the future with trails?
Yeah, each project is very specific, and so making sure that we account for all the different aspects of it. And this was our first trail renewal project that we developed CIP numbers for, and so kind of as we go along, we just know what things to look out for and what to identify in some of those projects.
And as you said, since we've now adopted that, as we redo things, we have to do the ADA. That's new for us too.
That is
So,
correct.
okay.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
And this is this is just, it should last 30 years, right? I mean, or it was comparable to a road, right?
Well,
That we-
yeah, Odine was put in 1997, so that's 24 years. We do build them a little thicker than we used to. That was put on 4 inches of sand with 2.5 inches of asphalt. Now we build them on 6 inches of sand with 3 inches of asphalt. So I do expect it to last longer. That was 24 years, so I can see 30 years out of this with regular maintenance.
And Page is just this anomaly road that we've been dealing with.
Right.
So it's not 24 years old, but
Yeah, that's about 16 or 17.
Yeah. When do we expect, so shut down, back up, operational? The contractor's here, but do you have a,
Yeah, we haven't discussed the timeline yet. We'll have a pre-construction meeting, I'm sure soon, and unless he's got some idea when he's going to start and what his timeline was. I know we'd like to have these trails reopened by the time school starts.
right, because a lot of kids use them for getting to the bus stop.
Correct.
Is that the goal? Great. Okay, any other questions? Otherwise, a motion would be in order.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I will make a motion to adopt resolution 2021-47, accepting bids and awarding contract for the 2021 trail improvement city project number 21-03 to Novco Inc. of Elk River, Minnesota, in the amount of $316,000. Can I speak?
Gotta say the full number.
Can I speak? Yeah. $316,000 and $33.25.
Second.
Motion by Brittany, seconded by Tina. Is there any discussion? We'll be doing roll call voting. Tina,
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jessica? Aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And welcome to Otsego. Oh, great. Well, then he's gonna make sure they're really nice. Maybe he lives off Odine, so it'll be really fancy. Oh, there you go. Oh, well, perfect.
And we'll have more trails in the future.
That's right. All right, moving on to city council reports and updates. Does anyone have anything? I have 2. And Adam put it in his update last week, but I did attend the open house at Claris. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Yes. Really happy to be here. So as Adam just an echo from his update, excited to be here. They loved all the traffic stopped out on 101 and their sign on the side that said so. That was exciting. Also today I took part of Elk River Chamber had hosted a Zoom meeting with Sherburne County, the United Way, other large businesses in Elk River at this point, but they'll be looking to Otsego, talking about the lack and shortage of childcare versus at the center and home-based. That's one of the number one barriers that they're finding for people getting back to work or being able to remain in work is the lack of affordable or open space for childcare. So it's the first of the meetings that we're part of, but it was good. Sherburne County was part of it. There was centers on there. Obviously, I came on as the mayor of Otsego, but I had other fill-in questions. I was the only home provider that was on there. So they're planning to kind of include representatives at the state level, but just wanted to kind of get this started. They were saying a lot of their manufacturing spots and just general workforce is the number one barrier as we're getting out of the city is lack of affordable childcare. So it's not going away anytime soon. So the ISD 728 was also part of it too. So Corey Francis was on and some of the people like YMCA was present. So it's a really good meeting. I will keep you guys updated on that because that is a shortage that we're also seeing statewide.
Are they just starting to talk about possible solutions?
So it's really just brainstorming and just really trying to find out what are the barriers. Is it that that hours aren't long enough? There's not enough space, cost for childcare, just general kind of.
Identifying the problem.
Identifying it, yes. The district tries to fill the void with having Adventure Club, which does, the morning and afternoon, and then they'll do summer care. I think they call it something different in the summer, but just lacking even them finding employees that are willing to work. And during the school year, it creates a barrier because they need somebody from 6 until 9 a.m. and then there's off for the middle of the day, and then they need you back at 3 to 6. So what can they do? How do they kind of fill those spots? The YMCA is filling those voids. They did get CARES Act money too, so there were some scholarships out there for students, but they're seeing an increase and having to turn kids away too for care. I'm not sure who's got something going on there, but maybe Jeff's got something on his iPad. I don't know. So yeah, it was an interesting topic, and obviously the chamber is trying to work at kind of identifying this. So I think this is something that we're going to see, and you can pick up a little bit of it when you see all these help wanted signs and what's the barrier. So I'm trying to. It's hard to keep a growing community to have people come into your community, but if they can't get employees, then their business isn't going to last either. So I will keep you guys updated on it because I thought it was very interesting, obviously. And it came out of the Zoom meeting that Brittany and I attended with ISD 728. So there was talk of it at that one. So that's what I have. My updates. Does anyone else have anything?
I do not.
And moving on to staff reports and updates. Adam.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a reminder, there is the ribbon cutting event next Wednesday, 1:30 at Carrick's Landing Park in conjunction with Guardian Angels. That's all I have for you.
Okay. Audra, we'll go back. One day you guys are all going to be back up here. All right. Sabrina.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I don't have too much, just starting to get to work with the communication group. So hopefully have some good stuff to work with council.
Great. And that we're referring to like social media communication, and you're also taking over the newsletter.
Correct.
Okay. Great. Excited to see what you have. That's a big goal of ours. Dave.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have an update for you regarding the ability to hold remote meetings because the legislature has passed a law on that. During the pandemic, basically the rule was changed to allow unlimited attendance at meetings via telecommunication,
Yes.
Zoom, or other means. On June 30th, unless the governor extends the emergency order further, that will basically expire and the rules will revert to the previous rules under 13D.021, which is basically that council members may attend a meeting remotely up to 3 times a year. And after that, council members are generally required to attend in person. So that'll be the change effective June 30th, unless the governor further extends the emergency order. And if that happens, then a council member may attend remotely on an unlimited basis, provided they have some kind of medical provider indicating they should not have contact with the public. But unless that emergency order gets extended, the old rule will go back into place, which is generally 3 times a year with the
Okay.
limitation.
So meaning that you can miss 3 times after that, but
No, I understand. I was just gonna ask, so you would have to provide something saying like I have COVID or somebody at the house has COVID or something?
Well, the way the statute reads, it's if the council member has, it can be the member or a family member. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to literally provide a note. But you do have to you've been advised by a medical doctor or a medical provider that you or a member of your family should not have contact with the public.
but they have up to 3 times that they still could attend via Zoom.
Yes, well, the 3 times applies regardless of COVID.
Yes.
And then aside from that, it's after June 30th, it'll require the medical provider.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Perfect. Ron.
Just the microsurface project is slated to start June 23rd, which is not this Wednesday, but the next Wednesday after that. And some of the streets that are going to be completed are McIver Avenue from 80th Street down to County Road 137. and then Mason Avenue, also short stretches of 80th Street, and then Kittredge Crossings area. So there's a few streets there, but just so you're aware that that project will be underway.
Sabrina, can we make sure that we get that in the communication or put that on Facebook and on our main page?
We
Perfect.
just found out today, so
Nope, that's
Yeah.
fine. She just,
I'll let
she's your
Sabrina
communication
know
note
also
person.
tomorrow.
Perfect.
You said June 24th?
June 23rd is their
Third.
potential start date. I'm sure it's weather dependent.
We can only hope for rain at this point,
Right?
right?
Right.
Mhm.
Gosh. All right, Dan.
Mayor, Planning Commission meeting on June 21st, Hunter Hills Phase 3, 130 single-family lots. We also have a public hearing for a commercial development as part of the Parkview Retail Project. 5,400 square foot building that includes an Otsego dental office as well as a Dunkin' Donuts with drive-through.
Does anyone else have anything? Then a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So move.
Oh, wait, actually, sorry, Jason's in the back. Jason, do you have anything? Sorry, I even wrote down your name, Jason Owens. We don't get to adjourn. Jason's here.
I'll
right.
withdraw my motion.
I didn't accept it.
You made a note about donuts and you didn't recognize there was
I-
a top of that.
Honestly, I was writing it down and then I looked out and I was like, see, Jason Ullman's right there.
That's what triggered it.
Sorry. We'll have to buy you donuts.
I will,
You don't come across as a donut. eater.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
will be interested in how that gets reflected in the minutes, how that transfers. So I will go over two things here real quick. The first thing, I feel like we've got a decent handle on some of the traffic issues as it relates to the construction. Some of the complaints have subsided, however, not completely gone away. One of the things I do like to try to institute is kind of in the middle of the process here, or as we're starting to wind down, is having some extra staff and being like, okay, let's continue the reminder here that we're out here enforcing this. So in this case, we had some extra staff the other day, and I brought up we had about 4 or 5 squads just kind of hanging out, making some enforcement on 85th Street and the speed zones. So we did get some cars stopped. Again, I'm not a huge guy on tickets necessarily, but just getting the lights and everything like that out there. So my other thing here I'm going to try to touch on is we've been very busy. I will say that, and I'll try to expand on that a little bit. I've obviously made conversation, up here, different meetings, social media, etc., about trying to have the public not set themselves up for failure and being a victim of crime. One of the things is Otsego has done well as compared to some of the other cities. I'm not going to name drop any other cities. However, a nearby city had about 14 to 15 stolen cars in the last month and a half. One of the other ones had about 10, 12, and there was another one that's sitting about 6. Otsego has 1. So certainly a good, however, for Otsego. However, I don't typically look at
Not good for
city
the area.
city boundaries
Mhm.
as when people commit crime, they're not sitting like, well, let's go into specifically this area, but it all kind of meshes up. So I have spent some time, I've coming to my days off doing literally foot patrol at 2 o'clock in the morning for several hours, trying to combat the issues that we're having in these neighborhoods where cars are being taken from. We've had some pretty serious calls in the northeast part of the county in general, that there's a few ones that are just frustrating, seeing the details on it. And as been pointed out, I get a little passionate about my job a little bit. So some of the stuff, and I'm kind of working on some of the things in the back of the room as we're handling this. Sometimes that translates into frustration with some of the other calls that we receive. So perfect example is over the weekends, we deal with fireworks complaints. I'm a huge stickler that I hate the concept of them. I think they're dangerous. I think they're extremely disrespectful. And right now we're sitting obviously in the middle of a drought. And I'm going to be very frustrated with the situation if those fireworks are incorrectly done, where they create a grass fire. And suddenly I'm having to take all the resources that I'm trying to fight the crime that we've been dealing with, where I'm having to tie up them to squads because somebody was irresponsible with something that goes up in the air and goes boom. So we've been handing out citations on that, and I've really told the guys that we're not gonna be tolerating fireworks, especially right now. We've got too much going on. We can't be, like I said, trying to respond to large grass fires or a house on fire when it's something that could have been easily prevented. So we could put our resources to something that's a genuine public safety concern with everything that's going on. So we're working on it. Like I said, it's been a little hectic. It's certainly, there's no formal study that states temperature equals crime. However, it happens every single year where the hottest days of the year always find to be the busiest for us. So,
Is there something that like you've seen in other communities that they have used to kind of get the information out about? I mean, we can all say fireworks are, like you said, dangerous or the illegal ones, but some other tool that we could be helping you guys with to get the information out to our residents.
as everybody sees on the social media
Mhm.
pages, it's
Some people
always
love
a
them, and some
very-
people hate them.
I get it. I know people really enjoy having their kids see them or enjoy them. I totally understand that. But man, it's like the second we bring that up, that's for some reason such a contentious issue that people are so passionate about it that no, you absolutely have the right because it's America. I get that part of it. But on the other end, like it's insanely disrespectful. And so I'm not sure what the answer is. We try to do the education portion where we're responding to them. For the most part, that's typically what our deputies do. Is like, come on, guys, knock it off. And we go on to the next thing. But then it seems to be the same neighborhoods constantly. And then something like this, we're like, we haven't had rain for 2 weeks. What are we doing here? It's insanely frustrating. So I'm not sure what the answer is.
Would you say that it's primarily then you know who these offenders are?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, there's certain places that we get the calls frequently and we'll hand out citations. But then again, with fireworks, there's always a preconceived notion that, well, me and my neighbors enjoy them. What's the issue? I've talked to them. They love them. These things go 100 feet in the air and it's a half a mile radius that you're upsetting, not just for some reason people think it's just them and their neighbors that have to worry about it, when in reality you have an entire neighborhood that's having issues with it, and it's about 50-50 whether they love it or they hate it. So it's not an issue specific to Otsego necessarily. Obviously we get plenty of, fireworks complaints are insane this time of year, especially leading up to July 4th. So I don't know if there is a good answer to say what's the information that we can spread out there. Do you try to curb it?
Okay.
I don't necessarily, and I don't even necessarily like coming up in here and like, hey, we're giving tickets for this, guys, knock it off. Because even that seems a little like, geez, the sheriff's office has to worry about fireworks. But,
right.
So if I have a good solution in my head, I would certainly
let us know.
Figure it out.
Yeah. Because we would much rather have you doing other things than chasing fireworks. All right, thank you. And everyone spoke now. Kevin, you got anything? Good. All right, the meeting can be adjourned if we have a motion.
Second.
Motion by Tom, seconded by Tina. Is there any discussion? Roll call voting. Tina?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jessica? Aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Brittany?
Hi.
Meeting is ended. Thank you all for attending this evening. And as stated earlier, we will be opening back up our special meeting. So Audra, what would you like us to do on our end on this? Okay. Grab some coffee. Sure.